thanks for funding.
I love it. Well, it is seriously my pleasure to introduce Stacey Bebo as our facilitator today. Talk about a woman with a vast array of marketing, digital marketing experience for a number of different entities, big, small, here, rural, everywhere in between. And is now with My Place Hotels of America. So without further ado, let's get Stacey a warm welcome.
Thank you very much. It is great to be here with you today. As Dee said, I am recently with My Place Hotels. I am the VP of Guest Loyalty and Engagement there. And so I handle the loyalty program. We have about 415,000 loyalty members, state rewarded members. And so we're working daily to engage with them and to grow that database. Because we know that those are very loyal guests. And so that's a big emphasis at My Place Hotels. And then I also oversee guest relations and then social media. So, but prior to that, I had Max Media Agency, and I know a few of you in the room here. From that, I had on 6th Avenue here, right next to Subway, and I owned and operated that for the last 12 years. So recently sold that to McClellan Creative, so they're taking good care of the clients that we had. And so with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And so today we're going to spend time talking about Google, the new algorithm, Google Facebook or Google business profile. Questions that you can put those up, and please feel free to stop me at any point in time and ask questions. So before we get going, does anybody want to guess the percentage of consumers that read reviews before making a purchase? That can be online too. You guys can send your guess. 40. Okay.
70.
70. Okay.
70. 85.
Vicky's the closest. It is 98% of people look at reviews before they actually step foot in the door or contact your business. So it is very, very important. Everything starts pretty much on Google, and then AI has really changed that today too. So we'll start talking about that in very detail here. So we also know that 81% of consumers use Google to evaluate a local business. 45% won't do business with a business that has 4 stars or lower. So it's really important to try to get those reviews and manage that. 76% of consumers will choose a business with a higher rating. So again, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about why are reviews important, how do we get more reviews, and the importance of responding to those reviews. So Google My Business, but now it's called Google Profile. Google Business Profile. So I've stepped out of this world for about 6 months, so I'm a little bit rusty here, so bear with me. So we're going to be talking about Google Business Profile that used to be called Google My Business. So key insights with Google Business Profile, 88% of consumers who do a local search from their smartphone call or visit the store within 1 day. As a fully optimized profile with correct hours and contact info, it's seen as more reliable and trustworthy. So trustworthy is a key word there that we'll talk about with MUVERA. That's one of the things that they put a lot of emphasis on. So it's really important that you optimize your Google Business Profile. So that means having the correct hours, telephone number, address, website, those things. Businesses with complete profiles and accurate information get 7 times more clicks. So I know we're kind of talking about the same thing over and over here, but it's important that you optimize those Google Business Profiles. If your business information is wrong, the phone number is wrong, or the address is missing, you are definitely losing customers to your competition. Google Business Listings with photos see more requests for directions and clicks to websites. So you're able to upload photos and really make that page personable and showcase your business. So it's important for every business, but particularly retail and restaurants and hotels. And I can't think of one business that it doesn't apply to. So pictures are very, very important. Getting reviews and responding helps your reputation and also how Google ranks you. So the more, if you're in a competitive industry, the more reviews that you have, Google will rank you higher when someone is searching for your business. So it's important to be requesting those reviews from our customers. And actually, there's a tool that we'll talk about here in a little bit where you can do that digitally, where it does it for you, so hands off. But then responding to them. So if someone took time out of their day to leave you a review, the least we can do as business owners is respond to them and thank them for the positive review. In the event it isn't positive, You can't remove those very easily. I mean, if there's, cursing or if there's something that's not true, you can make a request to Google. But most of the time, they don't take that down unless it's just kind of rare instance. So you'll have to respond to those, let them know that, you're really sorry to hear that their, experience didn't live up to the high standards that you expect. Ask them to personal message you, give the information and try to make that right with that user. People see that, that's transparency. They know that you as a business owner are trying to make that right with them. None of us are perfect. Somebody is always going to have less than 5-star on their page. They just are. In fact, if you have just 5s, people get skeptical of that because they're like, that isn't, legitimate, because it's hard to keep everybody happy 100% of the time. So sometimes those negative reviews gives you an opportunity to make that right with them and actually present you positively in the consumer's mind. So standing out on Google, it starts with, and this is something you're going to want to write down, business.google.com. For those of you that don't have a Google business profile, this is where you're going to want to start. And we'll go into more detail, but this is your starting point. So it's very important to take charge of that first impression. Like we just talked about, 98% of people are thinking online before they're even picking up their phone or giving you a call. So it's very, very important that we have a positive first impression. Again, logos, photos, hours, address, website, that all needs to be up to date and current. Frequently asked questions. This is another thing that we'll talk about here in a little bit with MUVERA, but there's an opportunity to post frequently asked questions on your Google business profile. And so I highly suggest that you do that because a lot of times the business owner or the some of the same questions for the businesses. So why not just go ahead and list those and people can get their questions answered there. So claiming your page on Google, go to google.business.com and hit start. And this is what you'll see. If you look to the right, this is what you're going to be looking at. And if you type in your business, like I put in Stacey's Tree Service, so that currently isn't a business. And so then it just kind of prompts you through the next questions. Enter your business name, business category. It's going to ask you to choose a category, address, phone number, hours. Very important that you complete all of that information. And again, photos, just enhance it. So here's where you're going to see I put in tree. So here's where on the right, you're going to see your business categories. And then also online reach. It's just going to prompt you through all of that. So you're just going to go through the prompts there. So what happens when somebody already has your business? So let's say you're Ken Super Fair Foods and you're typing that in and you see that somebody already has that Google business profile. There is a way for you to actually claim that. So what you're going to do is you're going to request access. If the profile is claimed, you will see a message indicating that someone else manages it, but you can click on the request access button. Fill out the form, what's your relationship, your phone number, select your access level. Do you want to own it? Do you want to manage it? There's several people that can have management access and just have one owner. So like with Max Media, we probably had 30 Google business profiles that we managed, but we didn't always own them, but we had access to manage them because we would respond to those reviews that we would get. So what kind of access do you want? And of course, then that's going to determine whether or not you're going to get access to it too. If you're wanting to own it and you don't actually own that business, chances are, if you don't have permission for that, they're probably going to deny that. You wait for a response. They have 3 days to respond to your request. If you don't hear anything back, you can file an appeal. So there are ways to do that. So you want to manage this page. What if your business is already listed and someone else owns it? So if you go over here, you'll see an email at the top. McDonald's is currently managed by, and it'll give you just a couple of letters, but you have to kind of decipher. Okay, that was an part of that for us. It worked for us, 3 years ago, type of a thing. That can be a little troublesome because a lot of times those email addresses don't exist anymore, and so then you have to go through the prompt with this as well. So click on if you want to manage it, if you want to own it. 9 times out of 10, if that person isn't actively engaging with this Google My Business profile and you're requesting access to it, they'll give it to you. but you're gonna have to go through some steps with that. So in the industry that you're in, so we have found that if you have direct access to a customer's home, so like if you're a locksmith or you're a garage door company, they really make you jump through a lot of hoops because they want to make sure that you're a legit business, so that homeowner is secure. So, Lake Area Door from Watertown was a client, and they had a second location in Sioux Falls, but they didn't really have a storefront, they just operated out of like a commercial garage. And so that was really tricky because they didn't see that as a legit business, so we had to go there, video it live, upload it right there. You had to like look at the sign on the truck, show the neighbors, show the address. I mean, they just make you go through a lot of steps with that, which is good for us as consumers. But if you're the business owner, it's tricky. But don't give up because, I mean, that process took us probably 3 months, but we ended up getting it through. Another reason that's important, if you want to run paid Google keyword ads, you have to have a Google business profile. So you have to direct them somewhere. And so that's kind of where it starts at first. So you can't even run the paid ads unless you have that Google business profile. So very, very important to take this very seriously. If you're thinking about opening a business, if you do own a business, this is extremely important. Again, 98% of people are checking out before they even pick up the phone call. And so take time to work through this process. It's not like anybody, I mean, no one has played your page and you're gonna go through this process today, probably take you 15 minutes. So, well worth your time to do. So that leads us to keywords. So how do customers find you and your business? I do have some notes, and I know you guys plan on sharing this with the folks here, right? So they're gonna have access to the notes on it. Right, yes, yeah.
It'll go out in the email you all receive tomorrow.
Because keywords, if you want to find how people are searching your business and what keywords that they're typing in to see, there is a Google Keyword Planner that is a free tool within Google Ads. And if you go to business.google.com/ad tools keyword planner, and we'll share this link with you too, so you don't have to jot all this down. But that'll give you an indication on your business and how people are searching you and what keywords they're typing in for your industry. And that's really good to know because if you're developing a website or you currently have a website, this helps with SEO, which is the search engine optimization. So if we're building those keywords into our content, which even with Facebook, if you guys don't have a website, you're just doing Facebook, build those keywords into Facebook too, because Google is scanning all of the different platforms to find relevant matches to those keywords. So very important to know how they're searching you, what keywords they're looking for, and then building those into your website, Google My Business, keyword campaigns, and also your Facebook pages. So MUVERA, I don't know if many of you have heard about this. Google has a new algorithm that just came out. It's was designed in 2024, but literally it's just hit the market and consumers are hearing about it probably in the last 3 to 5 months. So it is very new. It is somewhat complicated and it is going to change how people search your website. And I don't know if you're doing your own websites or if you have a website developer that you're working with, and I'm sure they're aware of this. But this is what MUVERA stands for is multi-vector retrieval architecture. It's the new Google algorithm. And again, they started this in 2024. It's just hitting the marketplace here. So what problems does MUVERA solve? When you search something, Google needs to find documents, which are web pages, passages that match your query. Not just by matching the keywords anymore. So it used to be, you just typed in hiking boots. Now people are searching differently where they're searching even with AI and they're saying, I want a hiking boot that has good ankle support and, you know, tough soles kind of thing. So no longer are just the keyword hiking boots effective because people are searching so differently and Google is searching and crawling those words differently. I'll give you a diagram that kind of explains that in a little bit more detail. A more powerful approach is the multi-vector search. Instead of representing a document or a query as a single point, you break through them with multiple vectors for different parts that can capture finer detail and relationships. Multi-vector search is slow and expensive to run at web scale, too many vectors to compare, complex similarities, math. So the trade-off was single vector search is fast, but sometimes misses the nuance, where multi-vector is precise but costly. So what does MUVERA do? Think of each document as a puzzle made of many tiny pieces. A query is like many pieces. To see how well they match, you'd compare piece by piece, which is slow, and there are many puzzle pieces to match with a single query. MUVERA's trick, it compresses or summarizes each multi-piece puzzle into a single smart summary piece, which is a single vector, that approximately how a full multi-piece match would go. The query is compressed, then it does fast matching between those summaries. Finally, when it has good options, it'll go back and do a more detailed matching. So convert many vectors. One vector is a smart way, but to do the fast search and refine. So this gives you an example. So if somebody, even just a few short months ago was searching an apple pie recipe, this is how Google used to search for those keywords on the left here. Today, Google is scanning so much so quickly that it's looking for, it's finding the recipe, it's finding pie, it's finding grandma stories, apple types, instructions, ingredients. All of these things are going on consistently and just a matter of seconds. And then it's coming back to you with your search. And so no longer are we just looking at one keyword, it's multiple queries. Vectors is what they're calling it, and it's happening very, very quickly. So you have to think about how are people searching your content, like with the Development Corporation and with Color, right?
Me for you.
Okay. What kind of questions do you typically get from people? Because that's how they're searching. So instead of just putting in your colors and for me, for you, those types of things, they're going to be asking more detailed questions. You really have to think like the consumer. What are they wanting to know? What are they going to be searching for? You even look at your own search habits these days. I know I'm searching way lengthier searches than I ever did, just because I know it's out there and it's going to match it exactly. So, I mean, we're all searching with longer, used to be long tail keywords, and now it's MUVERA. So that's the buzzword right now in SEO and what's new with Google. So SEO, how is MUVERA changing SEO? Search engines, particularly Google, prioritizing content that demonstrates experience, expertise, authoritiveness, and trustworthiness. So it's called EEAT. So when we talked about when your Google business profile is filled out completely, it recognizes you as a trustworthy business. That's one way that you can become trustworthy in Google's eyes. Another way that you can become trustworthy is by answering those reviews and making it right. Again, don't just leave an issue sitting out there without answering it, because that's not going to help you become trustworthy. Experience, expertise, reviews is showing expertise. Like if you can get reviews that talks about your service and how, that changed that consumer's experience in life and all the things that go with those reviews. Frequently asked questions, building that into your website is huge because that positions you as the expert in the marketplace. So if you can build those frequently asked questions into that, that is very big. Authoritiveness and trustworthiness. A lot of that just boils down to reviews. We're being told that Reddit, and that is a platform that isn't necessarily a big thing here in the Midwest, but that is going to be one of the #1 things that MUVERA searches is Reddit. So I mean, it just gives us one more thing that we have to and try to grow. That again positions you as the expert in the marketplace, and then YouTube with shorts, video shorts. There's again, that's the #2 things is Reddit and YouTube. So if you have video content, which a lot of us do, we just don't take the time to upload it to YouTube and create a channel for our business. It doesn't take long once you get into the rhythm of it. These are timely tasks, but they're important. And they're things that you can do without spending a tremendous amount of marketing budget. So these are all organic things that you can be doing to help your business show up out there in the marketplace. And your competition may not be doing it because they may not have the time for it. So if you want to have the edge on your competition, these are things that you can be doing. Visual and voice search, so optimizing content for visual search using images, video platforms like Google Lens, and voice search through conversational direct answers is increasing. So it's really, I put in there Reddit and YouTube, but now we have another thing that we need to worry about, and that is AI. So a lot of people are searching on AI. It's like, gosh, how do we stay ahead of the curve here, because we're positioned well in Google, but now we gotta worry about ChatGPT and Brian and Gemini and all the things. I will tell you, ChatGPT is probably the place you need to start. But do an audit, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. Is your website showing up on the first page? So do an audit of your search yourself, search your business. Where are you showing up in the marketplace? Who's ahead of you? Take a look at their reviews. Good chance they have more and they've answered them. So those are two things that you can do pretty easily, just by like when someone leaves, if you're a small business and someone's leaving your store, just say, hey, I'm so glad you came in today. Could you please do us a favor and review us on Google? That really helps us in our business. They'll do it gladly because I would do it, you would do it, I'm sure you would do it. I do it, because I know how important those reviews are. And then respond to them. Get it on your phone, so you at night, if you're just sitting there watching TV and you get a review that comes through, it takes you about 30 seconds to respond to that. Thanks, Rich, for the great review. We appreciate your business and your kind words. That's enough. It's, depending on the review. I mean, if they had, a fabulous experience and they're leaving 2 paragraphs, you could say a little more than that. Or if it's a negative situation, you want to really apologize and kind of go a little more into depth with that. But for the most part, if someone's leaving you a 5-star or just had a great experience at, Ken Super Fair Foods, thanks for your business and thanks for the kind words. We appreciate you. Just anything just to respond to that. And then are you showing up on ChatGPT? That's a big deal today. A lot of people are using ChatGPT for search. And so audit that. Are you showing up there? That's really important. Core web vitals. Google continues to emphasize core web vitals. So what's the load speed of your website? 2 to 3 seconds. Anything longer than that, they boot it out. And so you may not have control over that, but there's professionals out there that can help you with that. MUVERA Creative is a great resource for that type of thing. They do website design. And so if yours is loading slow, it's going to need some back end work. I don't know how to do that. I know the people that do know how to do it. I know the importance of it, but I'm not even going to begin to attempt that. It's just like, that's what they specialize in. That's why I go to the professionals. Even when I had Max Media Agency, I did not design one single website. That is not my expertise. No one would want that. But there's professionals out there that do that, and it's important. So, I mean, do what you can do, but there comes a point in time where you need to rely on the experts for that. So, MUVERA action items. Audit your website for clear structure and readability. Evaluate existing content for comprehensive and topical authority. Look for opportunities to expand on related subtopics and build content clusters. So depending what your business is, look at the pillars in your business and really start chunking away at those pillars with content clusters. So think in the consumer's mind, how are they going to be asking questions about this? If they were in need of this product, what are some of the ways that they would search for that? It's just kind of getting into their heads and how they would search, and even just ask some of your family and friends. If you cater to a younger demo, ask your kids, ask their friends. How are you searching for these types of things? So that just gets you in the mindset of people are searching different today. And so you need to build those content clusters. So when Google is looking for the keywords and the clusters that your businesses are showing up in that search. Make it clear what it's for and why. Again, frequently asked questions, how-to articles and videos. This helps MUVERA understand and retrieve specific passages. So tell me, Vicki, what your business is. Color, tell me what that is.
Color me for you.
Yes.
I do color and style analysis.
Okay, and I think I met you at the women's conference.
Yes.
And you're still on my mind, and I know you reached out to me, but I haven't forgotten about you.
Thank
So,
you.
that would be a great opportunity for you to do a short video. Why does it matter? You spend all this money on wardrobe. Don't you want to make sure that you're buying the color that's right for you to make you look your very best and feel your best? Do a short video on that, because those are the things that Google's searching for Why does color matching matter? You know, just showcase yourself as the expert in that industry. You know, women and men are spending a lot of money on their casual as well as work. Shouldn't we be buying the color that makes us look the best? Frequently asked questions. That might be something, I don't know if you have a website or even a Facebook page, but here's the questions we get most commonly from people. You know, how does this process work? How long does it take? Do I have to schedule an appointment? Am I able to just call you and get in the same day? Just think about those types of things, and put that content out there, because Google is searching, and when that's out there, they'll find it and position you. Fortunately, you're a niche market, so you don't have a ton of competition, but people don't even know they need your business. You have to tell them what they need. Optimize core website vitals. We talked about this. Load speed is important. So check your own load speed. Like when you're pulling up your website, how long is it taking for that to load? Anything longer than 3 seconds, it's time to do some work on that. Monitor performance. Use Google Search Console to monitor traffic changes, featured snippet performances, and rankings on specific queries. This can help identify which parts of your content MUVERA is surfacing. Invest in a review strategy and answer all reviews. So there is a tool out there, and I'm not promoting this because I'm trying to help Troy, but I have a lot of clients that utilize this. It's a Google review tool. So they have a service where you invest X number of dollars, and this actually sends text messages or emails to your customers. So it works with your CRM system. So as soon as your customer leaves your business, they can send that customer a request for a review, and you can even do it by name. So like, you could just say, hey, Diamond, thank you for visiting my business today. How was your experience with us? And so, I mean, if you got that text message about 15 minutes after you left the business and you had a good experience, you would be as quickly, 5 stars, that's as quick as it is. And then all of that's automated. You can even automate the response if you want, which is a good practice, but it's also, you still need to go in there and make sure that that makes sense to have that. Because again, somebody's giving me a 2-paragraph review and you're just saying, hey, thanks for your business, Diamond, we appreciate you, is that enough? So sometimes you still have to be in there looking at it, but this Google review tool streamlines this whole process. So if you're not good about asking for those reviews for your business owners, I highly recommend you check into something like this, because for a little bit of money, it's positioning you at the top 5. How many reviews do we have? And how many have you answered? So it's very, very important. So if you're not going to actively ask the businesses, then invest in a review strategy. There's even a QR code that comes with it. So you can even, like, if you do direct mail pieces or anything like that, you can attach that QR code. But we do know that people are more apt to leave reviews shortly after the purchase of the experience. So like if you reach them 2 weeks later, your odds go way down. So even with the direct mail piece, good chance that probably isn't going to develop a lot of reviews, just because it's been so long ago since they've been in there. But it's free, it's something to use, doesn't hurt to have it out there. So invest in your review strategy, whether that's organic or whether you're going to invest in a tool like this to make sure that you're actively asking for those. So key takeaways: over 90% of customers start with a search query. Google currently has 90% of the marketplace. That's changing quickly with AI. So Google's where it's at. That's a great place to start. But ChatGPT is another one that you need to keep your eye on. Invest in a review strategy. Manage your Google business profile regularly. Audit your website a minimum of 2 times. Really go in there and see, you know, is it loading fast? And where am I positioned in Google? And who's ahead of me? And what can I do to move my ranking up there? And then stay updated with Google's algorithms. I mean, they're evolving constantly. And I know this is draining because a lot of people look at this and like, oh my gosh, where do I even start with this? But even just keeping yourself abreast just a little bit, it helps. It does. I mean, you don't need to deep dive into it, know everything, but just stay in tune to what's happening on Google, because it is a huge piece of your, whether or not your business is going to be successful. So does anybody have questions on this? We'll start with that. What I talked about, or yes.
I don't have a question so much as a note.
Okay.
When you do your audit on your website,
Yes.
you want to make sure that you do it from a computer that you don't use.
Very true, that is very true, or incognito window, very true.
I
Yes.
just found out that my web providers actually never made my page public, so every time I was looking at it,
Oh, mercy.
I thought I was doing good,
Oh, no.
so it's important to.
Yes,
That's what we're doing.
that is a very valid point. Very valid point. Yes, and ask your friends and family to audit it too, because what they see might be different for that very reason, because if you're searching something a lot, it's gonna come up first. That's a very good point. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But it just hammers home the reason we should audit our websites. And even social media channels. I mean, if you're pretty active with social media, some are, some aren't, but audit that too. You know? Question, any questions online?
Yes.
Okay. Show of hands, who has a Google business profile? Okay. Anybody need help starting a Google business profile? Okay, because I am gonna stick around, and so that's why, I don't know if you brought a computer, but we can, there's ways to work around that too, so. I can show you how to start with something like that. Questions, I know we kind of high level there, but
So I have a patented product that is only available online. I do not have a retail storefront.
Okay.
I came from a business that was total brick and mortar and locally accessed and everything. And I'm trying to put that away and pick this up. When you
Yes.
have a extremely unique product that is a very niche thing,
yes,
I guess I never even thought about the business profile, because it's easy when it's a brick and mortar,
yes.
but
But online orders is gonna start with that Google business profile, because they're gonna research you before they even. So, are you legit? Do you have reviews? Do you have your address there? And if your address is just your mailing address at home, then put that. Do you have hours? I mean, there's all sorts of things.
how do you, I mean, hours is,
So when you go through that, Google gives you some recommendations. You can pick like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or they can expand upon that. Like they give you prompts.
okay,
So you'll know when you see that. Just get closest to what's accurate. It's better to have that out there than nothing. Like if none of it matches, you're still better off to pick one of those than nothing.
Okay.
Because then it looks legit. And people are persistent, like if they want to get a hold of you and it's 10 o'clock at night, they'll do it. So don't you worry. They'll, they will. But then I always say, start with like in your instance, okay, this big world out there. Budget is always a consideration with businesses. Where do we start? So have you started selling this product online?
yes,
Okay, where do a lot of your orders come from? Are they in the Midwest? Are they just in the state of South Dakota? Are they all over the whole United States?
slow. I
Okay,
have a distributor in Europe,
okay,
Canada.
so you are selling everywhere. So then I would just say, find that keyword and just start building upon it. Like, how are they searching it? What other things could that like search answer for people? Get your frequently asked questions online, do your videos, because it positions you as the expert. And that with MUVERA, you've seen it, EEAT, authoritiveness, effectiveness, trustworthy, and I can't remember the other one, expertise. So you have to be taking care of all of those. And those are easy, just I know videos, no one likes to do those, but man, they're powerful. And you can even do it in the privacy of your own home on your computer and just set it up and do it until you're comfortable with it, and then just publish it. Like so many people like analyze and analyze and analyze, and we never do anything with it. And I'm guilty of that too, but just push it out there. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, have a presence out there.
People are less worried about its professional looking video.
Yes,
They're looking for authenticity.
100%.
So,
Yes.
you know, do a video from your phone and do it
Yes.
fine, you know.
In fact, those are more relatable in today's world because people are spending 4 hours a day on social media. Actually more, it's close to 4.5 hours a day on social media. So they're used to seeing those low-key YouTube style videos. That's what they're wanting to see. Like the high polished, glossy, HD type commercials. A lot of times, if they're not in the mood, they'll just scroll by that. So the low-key videos are more authentic. and people can relate to that more. So yeah, when you think about 4.5 hours a day on social media, it's crazy. And as business owners, you don't have 4.5 hours in a week, let alone a day. So you're thinking, that's not true, but it is. Like the average consumer, they're multi-streaming. They've got their, TV they're streaming at home, and then they've got their social going. Do you subscribe to cable, or are you a streamer?
YouTube TV,
Yeah.
so we don't stream.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what we want to hear. No.
Right now.
Which is why you guys are probably selling ads on streaming TV, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Cable TV customers are very expensive to have, so stream away. Just get the fat.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So I mean, this is becoming hard to reach this demographic, because they're cable cutters. They probably, how many newspapers have you read?
Only the online one.
Right, so I mean, don't even pick up a newspaper. Magazine, do you pick those up very often?
Not really.
So digital, I mean, you're reaching out with digital, so I mean, for you, that's good, because you're a digital business. But yeah, it gets tough. So you just have to go back to who's that core demographic, where's the bulk of our sales coming from? Focus there first, because budget is an issue, it just is for everybody, so. Yes. Other questions? And for you, trying to market to people to bring business to Aberdeen, how do you guys market? I mean, that's a big net.
We have an incredible marketer on staff, luckily, so.
Okay, Sandra, I'll ask you that question.
Yeah, well, and a lot of the stuff that we've been doing marketing for is events coming up, and then entrepreneurship events. And,
Yes.
resources, stuff like that.
Yes,
So when it comes to getting businesses in, it's more of a different resources that we know to go to.
right,
So,
yep. But even here, before all of your people left and online, I'd ask them for a review. Please rate and review the Northern Startups in this course, because that positions you out there too, when people are searching.
What I will comment and say is, it's always fun to talk about, the big, at ADC, where the ADC had recruiting new business in.
Yes.
Always important, but really most of what we do is just supporting the businesses that are currently here.
Yes,
And it is, I've helped, I've only been on staff, I guess, almost a year, so I'm not so much a new guy, but
yeah,
I have helped, one business, onboard Google listing, someone that's a very successful business owner.
yes, they don't know where to
Multiple
start.
businesses,
Yep,
different one, and there's, I Google searched them
yes,
before the meeting, I'm like, hey, you're not on Google.
yeah,
Got Facebook, got Instagram, awesome, but
yep,
Google, and so just set up a site for them, handed it over to them, super
Yes.
easy. And so I think that's really important to highlight is that,
yes.
it isn't very difficult,
Yep.
but,
Yep.
even for established business owners, sometimes. it
Yeah,
just
they
something
overlook
goes-
it.
Yeah.
Yes, they
some of the
overlook
other
it.
things.
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
and part of that comes too, because if you do search for your business, there might be information out there, even though you don't have a good Google profile, because Google will put one
Yes,
out there
they
based
will.
on the information they have.
Yes,
And that's why you can tell whether it's active or not. A lot of times, if there's a phone number, if there's hours,
yep,
then you know that's probably because it's actively being managed. Google doesn't maybe always have access to all that, so
Right.
that the listing is not as robust. But,
yeah, they'll do it for
and
you,
it'll
so.
show up if you do the search, like when you were searching for your business.
Yep.
If they have a profile, it'll show up there. You can just claim it.
Yep, and underneath it'll say request to own this business, so then you know it's not claimed, because that says it right under there.
And even if you search it and it shows up in the sidebar, it'll say, own this business question mark.
Yes,
And you can click on that and start the process there too.
and you can't believe the amount of scammers that are out there, so back to Lake Erie Door, we had a ton of requests, probably once a month, that so-and-so wanted to request ownership of this business. If you're not actively managing that and hit deny, if 3 to 7 days go by, there's a chance that they could appeal it and get ownership of that. So, I mean, you gotta be checking in here and there to those things, so. And on that same note, Facebook, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Facebook will also create an unofficial Facebook page for you if enough people search for your business, which is super scary. So you might have a Facebook page out there you don't even know about. when, way back in the day, before we worked with Huron Regional Medical Center, they had a page they didn't even know about, profanity, terrible things on there, because people can just post whatever they want, because Facebook has created this page, it's called the unofficial page, and people can just post content on it. It seems wrong, it seems like that should be illegal, but, they can do it. And so we really do have an obligation as a business owner to be keeping on top of what's happening online. And sometimes that can be more than we have time for, which then you turn to the professionals that should be doing that stuff.
Everyone has an online presence, it's just a matter of whether you know what it is.
Or it's good. Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Any questions from online folks?
Oh, just got one. How do you list hours when your business hours change seasonally? Example, seasoned farmers work all sorts of different hours during their business.
Correct. So I would put a note in my calendar to go in and change it. So like Platinum Auto Spa, they had seasonal hours. So I would just literally make a note in, December 1st, change the hours to Platinum Auto Spa. And then you just have to go in there. It takes a few seconds is all. And then you're just changing your hours. But if you don't send yourself a reminder, chances are you're gonna forget. Okay. All right, well, thank you for having me today. I've enjoyed being here. Happy to help beyond this, once we sign off, if anybody wants to look at what we can do to create a business profile, I'm happy to help.
Very much.